Hi friends, if you've been here before, welcome back to a brand new video. If you haven't been here before, welcome. My name is Austin. I make book and record content and kind of just whatever else I feel like making. But today I'm going to be sharing and reviewing the books that I read in February 2024. And I don't think it needs much more of an introduction than that, so let's just get started with it. Now, the first book that I read in February was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I actually started this in January but didn't finish it until February, so that's why it's being included this month. But I ended up rating this book 3.5 stars. I know people love this book, and I had seen nothing but incredible and amazing reviews for it, and so I was super excited to start it. And then I was reading it, and I was super into it for the first half. Like, I loved Achilles and Patroclus, and I loved their story and what was happening, and I loved them, getting to go visit Chiron and spending time together and kind of developing themselves and their relationship. And then the war started, and that's when it really went downhill because I just felt like we kind of lost them, and it all was about the war. And I know that the author wanted to keep it pretty true to the actual Trojan War story and the story of Achilles. I just wish, for being a fiction story, that there was a few more creative liberties to kind of enhance their relationship in it. I lost it once the war started. So the last third of it, I didn't care about it as much, and it was hard to really get sad and emotional toward the end. I know people cry when Patroclus dies, which, first of all, I thought was lame. He was supposed to be the smart one, the one that had a good head on his shoulders, and yet he just ran out there and tried to climb a wall and died. It was so unsatisfying. And again, I know she tried to kind of stick true to the original story. I just thought it was lame. The only time that I kind of did get emotional was at the very end when his spirit is there talking to Thetis, and he's like, I can't move on until I am laid to rest here with your son. Say hi to Crater. That part did make me emotional because, they deserved to be together. And the fact that Achilles' brother didn't want that and refused to put his name on their, tomb was so upsetting. So I'm glad that she did that for them. It was okay. I personally would not go and reread it again. I don't know that I would recommend it to people, but I know a lot of people do love this. So take my opinion for what you will. And then the second book that I read in February was Iron Flame, the follow-up to Fourth Wing, which was a major hit, a major success. I loved Fourth Wing, and so when Iron Flame came out, I was so excited for it. I started off a little bit worried. I'm not going to lie. I got through the first half of the book, and it was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie, the first half was super boring. It didn't start picking up until the halfway point. I thought Violet was annoying. She kept trying to force Xaden into sharing all of these secrets and never keeping anything from her. Meanwhile, she was doing the exact same thing to him and all of her friends. And so it was also just a little bit hypocritical. I didn't care for Violet in the first half. Freaking Jack Barlow almost said something that probably shouldn't be on YouTube. Jack Barlow comes back, and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, come on, can't we be done with this guy already? It got really repetitive too. Aiden and Violet were fighting, and then she'd go back, and then she'd fly to see him at his post, and they were still fighting, and they weren't making up, and it got boring in the first half. But I powered through it, and I got to the second half when they all take off for Orisha. I hope that's how you pronounce it. They got most of the cadets from Bisgayeth and took off to Orisha, and the kind of revolution starts from there. And that's when it really started to get good. It's hard to explain what happens other than the Venin and the Wyvern are planning an attack on Bisgayeth, and so Violet and Xaden and everyone who's with them have to choose to either stay in Orisha and protect themselves or go back to Bisgayeth, and they ultimately go back. And so that whole starting halfway point, it's just good scene after good scene after good scene. There's so much character growth and development in the second half of the book too that I think is very beneficial for pretty much every single character that's in the book. And then once you get to that ending war scene, spoilers, you're watching a review of books that I read, but the mom dies, and as much as I hated the mom in the first one and still didn't care for her in the first half of this book, that broke my heart, because you truly saw that even though you may not have agreed with everything that she did and all the choices that she made, she did them to protect her kids. And that's ultimately why she also decided to give her life, was to protect her kids and to protect this school and everything that she had stood for and fought for, throughout her time there. That kind of broke my heart a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say about this other than it may take you a minute to get through the first little bit, but I promise you it is worth the wait. It gets so good at that halfway point. But I am looking forward to the third one. I don't know where it's going to go from here. They wrap it up really well, but they do leave it off with Zayden turning into a Venom. He sucks the power from the earth to defeat the head Venom on the opposite side of them. I don't know where it's going to go. There's no cure to turn somebody back into a normal human, but I'm sure they'll find something. I mean, he's kind of the main character, one of the main characters right now. So we'll see how that goes, but I am looking forward to whatever the third one is called, whatever's going to be in it. Kind of hoping it'll be out this fall, winter. That's when I would assume it would be out. But we'll see how that goes. And I did rate this a 5 out of 5 stars. The third book that I read in February was If I See You Again Tomorrow by Robbie Couch. I have actually read his first 2 novels that came out before this, and I really enjoyed them. I think one of them I gave 4 stars and the other I gave 5 stars. This one I gave 4 stars, and I'll read what this says just to give you a little synopsis. For some reason, he has woken up and relived the same monotonous Monday 309 times, and he has to admit that being stuck in a never-ending time loop. I hate all the trucks and stuff that go by. It's so annoying. Are we good? Okay. For some reason, he has woken up and relived the same monotonous Monday 309 times, and he has to admit that being stuck in a never-ending time loop is getting pretty lonely, until day 310 turns out to be different. Suddenly, Clark's usual torturous math class is interrupted by an anomaly, a boy he has never seen before in all his previous days. When shy, anxious Clark decides to throw caution to the wind and join effusive, effervescent Beau on a series of errands across the windy city, he never imagines that he could fall this hard or this fast for someone in just one day. But in Beau, Clark feels like he might finally have found the answer to his loneliness. There's just one problem. How do you build a future with someone if you can never get to tomorrow? As it said, it follows the main character, Clark. He's stuck in a never-ending time loop, repeating the same Monday. He doesn't know it until quite a while in day 309, as it said, that there is somebody else stuck in the time loop with him that is completely aware that the day is repeating itself. Oh my God. I'm so sorry if you can hear all the noise that are going on. Apparently every car thinks they need to drive by and every plane needs to fly over right now. But that character's name is Beau, and it takes them a while to figure out why exactly they're stuck in this time loop and how to get out of it. But ultimately it comes down to, at some point the night before, they were supposed to meet and that did not happen. And so to get out of the time loop, Clark has to convince Beau that the way out is to meet at that spot that they were supposed to meet at the night before, at the exact time, and time will continue on as normal and not restart the day. So it's kind of interesting. It follows Clark throughout the entire book, and you see him kind of meet new friends. He's kind of, he's not super outgoing. He's more reserved, doesn't make new friends super easily. So as he's repeating these days over and over, he starts to build new friendships with people. But it's also interesting because they don't remember, obviously, the days repeating over and over. So he has to keep restarting those friendships in hopes that, if he moves on to tomorrow, that those friendships can remain. So at the very end of the book, they end up meeting at the spot and they kiss and it moves forward just fine. I gave this book a 4 stars because the one thing that was missing from me was the interactions between Clark and Beau. They meet briefly on day 309 when they spend that today together running their errands throughout Chicago. And so that was super cute. But then after that, Beau kind of gets cold feet thinking that he's being distracted from what he thinks is the way to get out of this time loop. And so he cuts Clark off. And we don't really see them come back together all that often after that point. Clark keeps trying to go and find Beau and tell him, like, hey, this is how we need to get out of here. But Beau just kind of isn't really believing it. He thinks that he knows how to get out and Clark is distracting him from it. And so we just don't get a lot of them together. And that's what I was missing. I wish there was more scenes. Hi, Bubby. I wish there was more scenes between the two of them. And that's just why I gave it a 4 stars. I liked everything else about it. I just wish there was more between the two of them. I gotta wrap this up because my battery is dying. The last book that I read in February was I Was Born for This by Alice Osman. It follows the main character, Angel Rahimi, who goes to London to meet an online internet friend and also see the boy band that she is absolutely obsessed with. They're called The Ark, and it kind of gives a really not unique perspective, but like an honest perspective of fandoms being so obsessed with like celebrities and bands and kind of how toxic they can be at times. As great as they can be, they have negative sides to them. So she kind of gets trapped in, not trapped in a way, but through a fan event beforehand, she meets the secret girlfriend of one of the band members. No, it's not public information, so nobody knows it's her. And then later on, at the meet and greet before the concert, kind of a riot breaks out, and she hides in a bathroom. And then one of the band members actually ends up hiding in the same bathroom. He's kind of having a panic attack, and she kind of calms him down. After that, security comes and gets him, and she's left there, and he dropped something, like a family heirloom, so she picks it up. And the next day, he found her online through her account because she introduced herself. It was like, hey, I want to get this back. Can we please meet up? So she does, and this guy ends up showing up without any security or anything whatsoever. So another kind of mob breaks out, and she has to help him get out of there. Through all of this, she ends up meeting the rest of the band members and, a family member of one of them. And she just kind of gets like thrown into their actual lives, realizing that they're just people, And I think that's what a lot of fans or fandoms forget, is that these people that they keep putting up on pedestals and have all these grand ideas of, at the end of the day, they're just people too. It really just opens her eyes that they're normal. They're not these like crazy human beings. They're just normal people trying to live their lives. I thought this one was really good. I really liked its comment on fandoms and like celebrities that people kind of worship in a way. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it just based off of the writing at the beginning, but it turned out really, really nice. And I really love this one. So that's why I give this one a 5-star as well. But that is all I have for you for this video. I think it was a pretty good reading month, having 2 5-stars and 1 4-star. We'll see how March goes, and I will update you all at the end of this month of how it goes and what I'm reading and my reviews for them. So stay tuned for that at the end of this month. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. It really helps the channel out, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.